Hello, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passion World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. Folks, I do get excited every time I do a show, and I get excited about having people on who have a passion to help others, who are a wonderful resource for other people to have a better quality of life. That's what my shows are about, and that's why I love doing them, and I love interviewing people. And with me today is an exceptional guest. Her name is Brandi, that's Brandi Wolf, WOLF. She is author and writer of this wonderful book, Meditation for the Modern Mind, a beginner's guide to stress relief and emotional well-being. You're going to want to stay tuned for this show, folks. Brandi Wolf is a certified master of wisdom and meditation teacher. She meditated from her teenage years and became more of a crisis mediator until crisis hit. As the dust settled, she realized the pain and trauma had settled deep into her heart. Meditation helped her to forgive, let go, heal, and grow compassion for herself and others on a deep level. Today, Brandi M. Wolf continues to expand her compassion while experiencing a more peaceful and joyful life with less reactivity and more calm, thanks to the ancient wisdom of meditation. Folks, let me tell you what, I read this book and extremely helpful. And not only is it helpful, I just have to say this. There is resources in the back of this book that you can click on. And I want to welcome Brandi M. Wolf to Chatting with Betsy.
Hi,
welcome,
Betsy.
Brandi.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
You are welcome. It is my pleasure. I always start off, Brandi, with what motivated you to write your book?
Well, I have always wanted to write a book, and it was actually just meditation. I teach meditation to a lot of people. I work at an addiction facility for men that I teach meditation to, and I teach meditation around town and on Zoom and stuff. And people kept asking me, well, is there a place I can learn more? What books should I get? And I have lots of books that I recommend for people, but I thought, I just felt really prompted to write a meditation book. It's something I've always wanted to do, so it happened.
Well, I'm glad it did. And you know what? I have to tell you, one thing that really stood out to me in your book, if I could remember, because I'm lucky if I remember what I read yesterday.
Yeah.
Is, what did you call it? A blessing rod. Like, instead of getting angry when someone, gets you upset, is to, like, say, something like thank you and you wish them well. I love that.
Send them into the love and light, just bless them. And I shower you with love and light. And my friend Paulette Esposito, she actually came up with the blessing rod, and the first time my husband and I used it, we just had so much fun using it because we were on a road trip, and drivers pull out in front of you, they speed past you, then get in front of you and slow down, and they do all these wild things. And so every time that happened, we were taking our blessing rod and showering people with blessings instead of cursing. And we ended up just laughing with each other and having so much fun, and we felt light and, compassionate and loving instead of finishing our, 10-hour drive grumpy. It was really fun. And so we still use it today. We still do.
Well, I started using it, Brandi, and I'll tell you what, and I have to tell the audience, you know what, folks? It's a lot better sending someone on their way towards the love and light, wishing good on them, than to hold that anger in, because it only destroys you. It's not hurting them. It's hurting you.
Right.
So let go of that, because it's like poison to your body. And you know what? I started doing that, Brandi. And
I'm so glad.
I felt so much better, because I have to share this with the audience, and I'll share it with you. My mom died this past March. And years ago, my sister and I picked out jewelry that my mom said, pick out what you want for when I die. Well, I never got the list. And my mom died. I never got the jewelry. I knew I wouldn't. I knew I wasn't going to get it. And you know what? I just said, you know what? To my sister-in-law, nieces, bless you, enjoy the jewelry. Have a good time with it. Wear it in good health. It's what I wished on them. Let go of whatever, pictures I'm supposed to get, didn't receive. I wish everyone well. And guess what happened? I won something. I won something.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, you know what, folks? I feel this way. And you might think Betsy's a little woo, that's okay. I believe, Brandi, when you wish well on someone, it's going to come back to you. When you wish bad on someone, it's going to come back to you.
Indeed. I absolutely agree with that statement. 100%.
And there's so many things I love in your book, Brandi. And then another one that speaks out to me is because of a grieving. You have meditation for grieving. Can you talk about that? Because I know there's a lot of people out there grieving, stressed. This is a stressful time.
It is a stressful time. There's, I think every age of people probably think they're going through the most stressful time ever. But I kind of think it's true. Like, as we progress, more and more stuff happens, and the intricacies get deeper, and the webs we weave get more webby.
Yes.
And society we are in quite the web that has been woven for us. So, yeah, it's stressful times. And, grieving is, that's actually what kind of pushed me more towards a consistent practice instead of being such a crisis meditator. And in 2002, my father committed suicide, and
I'm so sorry.
It just, thank you. It was, it was a long time ago now, and I feel pretty good about it now as far as where I'm at, but it was deep grief. It was deep sadness, deep grief, and it just, from that moment to about 2008, I felt like I was on a roller coaster of like one foot dropping after the other. It was one thing after another. And by the time I finished going through this, series of tragedies and crisis, I was just in a very dark place. I was very hurt. My heart hurt. It was so heavy. I don't feel like that anymore, but I can look back and I can remember that feeling, that feeling of just like almost having a cement brick in my chest that was like expanding, and it hurt, and I had to get rid of it. I had to process it. I had to figure out, how do I get over this? And meditation was a significant tool. In fact, the most number one tool I used to help me get over that. Because there was a lot of pain, and I had a lot of anger. I was really mad. At my father, for doing that. And there was, lots of ins and outs of that, and other people that I was mad at too, that, I felt had a hand in it or whatever. There's always drama that goes with all those kinds of things. And And, I started with writing letters, just unencumbered, just letting them out, letting my feelings out in letters, and writing whatever I wanted to feel. And then I had this coffee can, and I'd go in the backyard, and I would meditate and sit out there by myself and just get real still and silent, and then light them on fire and let them go. I just let those emotions go, let the feelings go, and I would bawl.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just bawl and bawl and bawl and bawl. And I cried so much. I mean, I can't believe how much I cried when I did that. But sometimes that wasn't enough. Like, one letter wasn't enough. I found with, I started going through my whole life of that whole time, but then I started going back deeper, longer, back to childhood, going back as far as I could, and I started finding things that I didn't even realize bothered me, but they still did. And so, some of the instances and circumstances I'd write 20 letters to, and go in the backyard, meditate under the stars, and light them on fire and let them go.
I like that.
And it was so healing.
It is healing.
Really healing. Mm-hmm.
And, anger at someone who did commit suicide, that's normal. Even when they don't, it would get angry, like, oh, why did it have to happen? And, or you ask, why did they do that? And matter of fact, I'm going to be interviewing someone next month who wrote a book. Her husband did commit suicide. And that will be an interesting interview. It's just, you wonder these things. Would you mind if I read something from your book, your one of your mantras for healing for grieving? Because there's a lot of people in the world grieving right now.
Oh,
folks,
absolutely.
I read this. Oh my goodness, this is on page 113 of Brandi's book. Tell me, how powerful is this, folks? I give myself permission and time to grieve. I am safe to feel all my emotions. My grieving process is unique and has its own timing. I learn and grow from this experience. I reach out and ask for help when I need it. I will be kind and loving to myself through this process. I know this too shall pass, and I know I'm getting through this. I am grateful for all the blessings in my life today. Wow. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Brandi. This is
oh gosh, yeah,
incredible. I mean, I wish I had this almost 5 years ago when my husband died. It'll be 5 years in January. But even to this day, to read this is just so powerful because I'm still grieving. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think grieving is a continuous process.
It is. I mean, there's just some things that leave a mark.
Right.
It's like it's just because it's not on your knee or your hand or something like that. There's just some things that leave a mark. And we're always trying to let go of that attachment.
I think this is just a beautiful healing mantra because I've heard this, and I'm in a lot of different support groups, Brandi, and I hear this all the time. Oh, I wish I was strong. I'm trying to be strong. Folks, first of all, and this is my Jersey girl, okay? Stop telling people to be strong. Just stop it.
Right?
People don't need to hear that when they're grieving. They don't need to hear that in a crisis. We don't. Yeah. You are strong. People have been strong. We're human. Mm-hmm. We're allowed to cry. We're allowed to grieve. We will be feeling all kinds of changes in the grieving process because it is a process. I'm here to tell you the pain for me, at least, it's still there. It'll always be there, but its intensity has changed. It's not as painful, but it'll always be there, especially during holiday time and different occasions. And it's okay to validate those feelings. If people would just validate their feelings and acknowledge them, and they'd be a lot better off. And I always recommend counseling.
So true.
Brandi, how does meditation help people? People might ask, well, how does meditation, what will it do for me? How does it help me?
Well, it's like anything that's good for you. It takes consistency and practice. We can't just meditate once and expect that you're going to change the world. We have to have a consistent practice. Like when we meditate for ourselves, but we also meditate for everybody else. Because when we take that time to sit in the stillness and the silence in awakened state, we are giving ourselves permission to do that. We are giving ourselves permission to just not be doing. We live in a society of doers. If I'm busy, I'm important. If I'm doing, I'm important. I have worth if I'm doing and I'm busy. And when we take the time to just sit and acknowledge the stillness and silence, disengage from the chatter, disengage from the thoughts, all of a sudden clarity starts coming in. Peacefulness starts coming in. Our defensiveness, our grumpiness, our agitation starts subsiding. When we go and engage with the world, we engage at a different level. We engage at a kinder level. And, meditation is great. It feels so good for ourselves. It helps us to process emotions. It can help us heal. It helps us to process the day. But at the end of all of that, meditation helps us to build compassion and love in our hearts for ourselves and others. And when we do that, we are just a nicer person. We are a better person. We go out there and we find ourselves engaging with the world in a different way. Instead of getting agitated and irritated at everybody for everything that is happening, we stop and go, you know what? I think I need to take a breath for a moment. I'm not feeling so good right now. I need to come within and be present, get out of the future rumination or anxiety, and get out of the past rumination or anxiety, and just be here now and be in this moment, because it's the only moment that we really truly have. And it can give ourselves, it gives people a different perspective on life, a different perspective on how things go.
Yes, and sometimes people might think, oh, well, meditation's not for me, or, I don't believe that. You know what, folks? Mm-hmm. Meditation's been around since Bible times. Read the Bible. Mm-hmm. Talks about meditation. Yeah. So it's been around. Yes, yes. So it's either you are a believer and you want to meditate on God's Word, or you have another kind of faith. Whatever you meditate on, as long as it brings you peace and helps you be less stressed, go for it. And Brandi, my audience has a lot of caregivers, and self-care is so important. I say it all the time. Even like when I was caregiving, I would just go into the bathroom and deep breathe. That was, and meditate on something, positive. I would even listen to music and meditate on the words. We need that. You need to take care of yourself if you're a caregiver, and I don't care if I sound like a broken record because it's that important. Meditate, and you'll see a difference in how you feel when you get all stressed out.
Yeah, caregiving
it makes a huge difference.
Caregiving is, I don't know, like I've just witnessed people doing it. Like I've never had to do it. I've witnessed people very close to me doing it, and I have seen the toll that it has taken on them being a caregiver. And it's like a caregiver for an adult or adults, or a child that will never be able to take care of themselves, or something like that. I mean, there is a new kind of service when you start caregiving for other people. And what you said about them not taking time for themselves is so true. They start putting that caregiver in front of them at such a high level that their needs get set to the back burner. But I think in those cases, meditation could really help keep that balance there for them.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it helped me because I know I've seen this. Our loved ones pick up on our energy. So if we're stressed and we're anxious, they're going to be anxious. They just pick up on it. And, you want to try to avoid that. Of course, we are human and no one is perfect. But, I know when I was stressed and I snapped, then that would start yelling. So I had to, be careful, go outside and yell, yell in your car. That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
On my way to work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just finding ways to find the peace and get it out. Singing to a song at the top of your lungs. You're in the present moment. You know every word. You're not in yesterday and you're not in tomorrow. You're just singing to the top of your lungs and finding joy in a moment. And that kind of stuff is so good for the soul. It's so good for the soul.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I looked like a crazy woman in the car.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Because it was just a way of release. And I just think that, the older I get, the more I do find myself wanting to meditate because I want peace. At this time of my life, I'm going to be 67 in December, God willing. I want peace in my life. I don't want stress. I don't want it, I do have high anxiety, and that's just my nature. But I want to be as peaceful as possible. And I do have post-traumatic from caregiving, and I'm using meditation to help me and just to let it go, to let a lot of that stuff go. It was very, very helpful because, Brandi, I'm going to go back to this again because I don't think a lot of people just really get it until they understand it themselves, like I had to. When you hold resentment, when you hold being jealous of someone or hostility, you're just poisoning yourself. Nothing good is going to come into you. And that's what you're going to attract. And who wants to attract more of that? So
I agree with you.
I had to learn, let this stuff go, like this, song from Frozen, let it go. I say let it go and let it flow out to the universe. Because it's just, and I tell my son that too, because he would complain about someone. And I said, Josh, they're not thinking of you. You are giving them power in your head. They're renting your head. Why? Let that stuff go. Don't worry about them. God will take care of them, universe, whatever you want to say. Karma is, well, you know what to say about karma. I can't say it on here. It rhymes with witch, okay?
Right.
A payback. Don't worry about it. And it may not come when you want it, but believe me, it will come at some point. So people get better at meditation when they do it daily, and you could do it more than once, whatever, and as many times as you want.
Absolutely. I think that, getting up first thing in the morning and meditating is going to be the most beneficial for somebody that wants to build that consistent, practice, because that's, everything's silent outside. Everything's quiet outside. And when we wait till 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the day to do meditation. Everything else can get in the way. There's a million things. We know how the days go. Oh, so-and-so just called, needs me to go do this. Oh, this just happened, and now I can't do this. It gets put on the back burner. So if we just do it first thing in the morning, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of our day. And
yes,
that's, what you do in the first hour of the day is really one of the most important things, staying off social media, staying off emails, staying off all those things and taking time for yourself. It just sets the day and sets the tone for you. But, yeah, meditating multiple times, 2 times a day. I find myself often doing just mini meditations throughout the day. I mean, I have my consistent practice that I do in the morning. But then I also find myself just throughout the day, okay, it's lunchtime. Let me take a few minutes for myself. Let me just be here for a moment and breathe and not do anything else. I'll do that in the afternoon, even going on just a peaceful walk with no technology, no earbuds, just going on a walk and practicing being as present as possible. Listening to your feet hit the ground or the gravel under your feet. Listening to the birds, the trees, the wind. Really just being present in that moment. It makes a difference.
It does. It does. I love to hear the birds sing and make their little noises. And another page I like in your book, there's many pages, but page 52, you talk about how to integrate gratitude into your life. Folks, I'm going to, folks, I'm honest with you. What you hear with me is me. I did not have gratitude. I didn't have gratitude for the first 60 years of my life. I started being grateful at the age of 60, okay? Never too late to change, folks. So I just want to read a few things that Brandi has in her book. You have start the day with gratitude. So important. Send blessings to the world. Write a gratitude letter. Go on a gratitude walk. I love that. This is just practical, everyday things that people can do and feel so much better.
Yeah,
better than taking a pill, folks.
It is.
Right?
Well, gratitude helps us to see that we can't live our life the way we currently live it without the help of others. You start looking around at how the world is, like how we get our food, how we get our packages, like all those people that are in the background, stocking shelves, farming the, peaches, whatever it is that they're doing. There's all these people and that are part of society, and if any one group of those people went away, our life structure would change. And so being able to look at things through a gratitude lens, knowing that my life couldn't be like this. I couldn't have all of these amazing things. I couldn't walk into the grocery store and buy all these different produce items without, tilling the soil myself and harvesting it myself. I wouldn't be able to just walk in there and buy it. Somebody else did it for me, and I'm exchanging them with money. It's just, you start looking around at how we live our life, and just the gratitude becomes so multifaceted and multi-layered, and it just becomes so much deeper. And gratitude is how we, blaze the trail to compassion. Having compassion when we're thankful for somebody and for everything that they do for their life, our compassion can build for that person.
That is so true. And, it's also a different perspective of gratitude, I think, will help you look at things differently. I know it did for me. I always say, I feel grateful and blessed because of Matt's journey with early onset Alzheimer's. Now, at that time, was I grateful? No, I was not grateful. But now I see where it led me. It led me here to do Chatting with Betsy. and I'm helping, people. And what a wonderful legacy for Matt to have, left for me. And I found my gifts. I found my voice and my power through Matt's journey. So, and I'm still alive through caregiving. So I have a lot to be grateful for. And yes, I consider myself blessed. I'm sitting here talking. I am blessed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. And it's a weird thing to think I'm grateful for somebody else's suffering or what they did. But, over 20 years later, after, my dad's death, being able to look back at that and go, okay, wow, what did that do and how much it taught me and what it forced me to deal with. Like, I had no other choice but to deal with my emotions. They were so powerful and they were so strong. I had to, else my life was going down a dark path, and I didn't want that. I was a single mom. I needed to take care of my baby girl, and I needed to move forward. And, there are many times I think, wow, I see what you did there, and when I say that to my dad, I see what you did. You showed me something I needed to see, and I am grateful for the contrast. I'm grateful for the contrast that you showed me, because that contrast is what forced me into a healing mode, and it ultimately helped me find meditation on a deeper level.
Yeah, same thing with Matt. I mean, I didn't start really with a positive attitude and meditating until Matt was like more than halfway in his journey, because it was at the age of 60, so that's almost 7 years ago. Better late than never, folks. I'm so, like, people might look at me and think, "Oh, Betsy, you're a little nuts to be grateful for what you went through." But you know what? We don't always see the bigger picture. Maybe we're going through something to help someone else. And Matt's life touched many people worldwide. I never thought that. I never expected that. When I went in my car to do videos about caregiving, I never thought it would lead me to where I am today. And I am grateful that I use my microphone to help do my part to help change society, to help people. And that's such a huge blessing to me. Gave me a purpose. And I'm, just extremely grateful. Yeah, do I miss Matt? Of course I do. But I have a new purpose in life, and I will always miss Matt. But I have a purpose, and that's to help people, and I know it's called to serve, and that's what I'm doing until I can't do it anymore. And
I love it.
And well, thank you. Brandi, can people go to you and learn how to meditate? Do you teach that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a meditation list that they can sign up to for free. Well, they'll get a meditation in their inbox and a few little emails through the month. I don't bombard anybody, but I just send a few out during the month, and then if they want to learn meditation on a deeper level, we have classes. I can, some people want one-to-one classes. Others want group classes, and they want to invite their friends. Or sometimes I have just scheduled classes that I do. And I do a lot of them. I find Zoom's very helpful because, you can join them from wherever.
I was going to ask you that. Are they on Zoom?
Yeah, we can do classes on Zoom. I do them in person, too, if they're in my geographical area. But I can do them, over Zoom, and have done quite a bit.
That is great. And what is the name of your business and your website?
It is goldenalchemymeditation.com.
I can never pronounce that word, alchemy. goldenalchemymeditation.com. That was the hardest. I have some words I just had the hardest time saying. And where can people purchase this wonderful book, Meditation for the Modern Mind, A Beginner's Guide to Stress Relief and Emotional Well-Being.
It is on Amazon, and it's also on Ingram Sparks and Audible. So it is on Audible too.
That's awesome. And tell us about your YouTube channel.
So my YouTube channel is, I just put up there's free meditations and resources there, talks for anybody that, has this book or my other book. There's resources in the back that take folks to unlisted videos. So there's like a unlisted side that are accessible through the QR codes in the book, and people are able to go, check those out too. But yeah. So I just post stuff. It's not a big channel by any means. It's just resources for people for when they want to see them, they want to access them. I send people there if they're looking for meditations that are just easily accessible. And I don't put commercials. I don't think YouTube puts commercials in them because I don't opt to put commercials in them because I don't make any money on YouTube. It's just a resource. I just use it as a resource.
I love it. And you have on the back of your book, as I said earlier, different QR codes for different meditations. So that is also a bonus. I want to thank you, Brandi, for sending me your book, coming on the show, and just for all that you do to help people and make this world a better place by helping people feel better about themselves. You know what, folks? Think about it. How much better would this world be if everybody was less stressed? Right?
Right? Oh my gosh. If we all were taught this from being a child, we would know how to handle our stress, and it would be a different place.
Yes. I live in New Jersey, and it's a rat race here. People cut you off, they beep, always in a rush. I have learned to not be in a rush, take things slow. And you know what, folks? If I run late now, I look at it as maybe it wasn't meant for me to be there at that time. That's a new way to think it. I read that in a book. Somebody was late, and it was a good thing they were late because an accident had happened of where they were supposed to be at that time. So
absolutely.
Take it as a sign that you weren't supposed to be there. That's how I look at it. I mean, of course, if you have an appointment, you have to be on time. But if you don't have an appointment, you're running late to go to the store's going to be there. It ain't going anywhere.
It will.
And, excuse me, I have really learned through my caregiving journey what's important and what isn't important. And you know what? The person going in front of you is slow, so what? So you get there a little later. We just really need, I think, to just slow down. And I think if everyone meditated, however you want to meditate, that brings you peace, I think more people ought to do it, and maybe society might be a little more peaceful. And that's just how I look at it. If everyone was peaceful, we wouldn't have all this stuff going on. And let go of the hatred and the bigotry and, the stigmatizing of people. It's beyond ridiculous already, but I'm digressing. I'm getting in my soapbox. But I want to thank you so much, Brandi, for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. You are welcome.
To you, Betsy.
Oh, thank you. Folks, the name of the book is Meditation for the Modern Mind, A Beginner's Guide to Stress Relief and Emotional Well-Being. And on the book, it will say the initial B.M. Wolf, W-O-L-F. And I spell it because there's different ways of spelling names. And all the information about Brandi Wolf will be in the blog that Jeannie White writes. Jeannie's the station manager, produces the show. So thank you, Jeannie. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's CEO of Passion Talk Radio Network, who makes this all possible. And I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you for listening, subscribing. If you don't already subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, I don't know what you're waiting for. I have great guests on that will help you. And I always have something interesting. I learn from every guest, and I am on Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, Amazon Music. And please share this show to help other people. I want to help as many people as possible, and I need you to help me do it. And so I would appreciate that. And if you want to follow me, I am on Facebook, Betsy E. Wurzel, W-U-R-Z-E-L. If you're a caregiver, I have a support group, #Kick Alzheimer's Ask Movement. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright, because we need it now more than ever, folks. Let's show our humanity and love up on each other. And that's what I have to say today. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Chat with you soon. Bye-bye.